welcome. My name is Angelina and you are watching my end of the month review where we basically take a look at the K-pop releases, be it debuts, comebacks for the month of March. Now, fun fact, these are the most time intensive videos that I make. They end up being the longest. They take up to 2 days to just like do research and write the script, and then another 2 to 3 days of editing. You know, I definitely like to think I put a lot of work into it. Just so some of you at the end of it all can comment, you missed insert group here. Do you know how much that hurts in my heart? Or worse, just for some of you in the end to shit on my taste in music. I mean, don't you have your own? I'm just kidding. I understand you would want me to include certain groups, and some of you guys tell me just so I could talk to you guys in the comments. I get it. But some of you want blood. But yes, using my super fancy tier ranking system, we're going to take a look at all of these releases. And it's just our fun little time together at the end of the month where we can discuss our thoughts on all of these comebacks. Some people, you know, are really passionate. I get it. I need to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I stopped doing disclaimers a long time ago, but maybe I need to bring them back. If you're offended by the way that I feel about a song, you know, we'll get through it together. We'll get through it's fine. I understand. I understand it feels like the end of the world, but I assure you that it is not. My opinion on a song is not going to change your life. It's not going to change these artists' lives. You know, this video is for fun, just to share what came out this month. You know, we'll get through this together. If you're feeling any type of way, like, I'm not personally gonna help you through it, but like, I'm sure someone else will. But before we get into the explanation of my tiers, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. So let's talk about my tiers. At the top of the tier, of course, I have Big Booty Bop. These are songs that are instant loves. As soon as I heard the song, I knew I would fall in love with it. And from that moment on, I listened to the song on repeat over and over and over and over and over again. That's the essence of Big Booty Bop. Now, in comparison, right below, we have Cup of Milk. These are songs that maybe it's not love at first sight. Maybe I thought it had great potential. I ended up adding these songs to my playlist. However, we're going to put an emphasis on the fact that these songs don't have a long shelf life. So right below Cup of Milk, we have Second Gen Vibes. These are songs that I casually like. If they started playing randomly, I don't think I would necessarily skip them. If I was forced to listen to someone else's playlist, like, I don't think I would be like angry at them if they made me listen to it. That's the type of vibe we're going for, just casual likes. Below this, we have It Exists. Pretty self-explanatory. Songs I feel neutral about. Right below this here, we have Grow or Not a Shower. These are for songs that, you know, definitely not love at first sight. Perhaps I even, you know, hated them at first sight, but nevertheless, these are songs that were definitely able to grow on me, and then I ended up liking a lot more than I anticipated. Right below, we have everyone's favorite tier, of course, YG's Dungeon. These are songs that need to go back into production. There's something that I would tangibly change about these songs, so I would personally let them go back into the vault to let them simmer a little longer. Then last but not least, we have Not My Cup of Tea for songs that I just am not vibing with. Which doesn't mean that it's not a good song. It just means that I don't personally like it. If you like these songs, then you like these songs, and it doesn't mean anything more than that. So we're going to start this video off with Yeo's new boy group, Tempest, and their debut with Bad News from their mini album, It's Me, It's We. According to their video description, they are the first boy group to debut from Yehua in 7 years, and they have aspirations to occupy the K-pop market with the bright and powerful energy of the 7 members. Their title track, Bad News, paradoxically contains their ambition to conquer K-pop, with a melody that flows naturally across the border between rap and vocal harmonizing with the funky rhythm. Now, their music video is definitely really bright, very colorful. I appreciated that aspect. And I also appreciated the irony of them singing very happily, Here Comes Bad News. Now, before even listening to this song, one of my carrot friends told me that this group reminds her a lot of 17 and that she's already in love with them. And honestly, after hearing this song, if you had told me that this was a 17 song, I wouldn't have questioned it. I wouldn't have looked into it. I wouldn't have questioned it. I would have gone my whole life thinking this was a 17 song. Had you told me that? I'm even picturing certain members' faces in my head when there's certain vocal parts. I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally that person. That's totally this person. Oh yeah, that's DK. Mind you, I'm a carrot by proxy, so don't take my word for it. But let me show you some examples, and if you know 17 better than me, let me know what you think. And some of the choreography also did seem a little bit familiar, so again, let me know your thoughts about that. Nevertheless, I did like some aspects of this song, but as for the song as its own entity, I'm just not sure that I would listen to it. And with that being said, I'm not sure there's anything in particular that I would change for it to merit going into YG's Dungeon. So I'm personally gonna put this into not my cup of tea, but if you like 17 and you like this type of sound, definitely go check it out. Next up, we have Cherry Bullet's Love in Space from their second mini album, Cherry Wish. Within the description of this music video, they claim this title track features Cherry Bullet's subjective and mature charm of trying to win the love of the ones they love even in their dreams. It is a synth pop genre based on retro sound, giving dreamy vibes with the rap melody in the beginning and the catch exciting melody in the second half. This description, paired with the fact that Love So Sweet was one of my top 5 most played songs on Spotify, made me really excited to hear this song. I was really excited to see what they came out with next. And I mean, I was even willing to look past the overused 80s sound and the weird CGI cat, because I did feel like there was magic within this song. However, it wasn't as much as I was expecting. I definitely agree that it has dreamy vibes, but I don't know that I would necessarily put it in a dreamy category in and of itself. But as of right now, I'm just not too sure. I would tentatively put it into Grower Not a Shower, because just like Love So Sweet, I don't think that I was in love with it right off the bat. But then, you know, it kind of snuck up on me and I did end up falling like head over heels for it. So I'm kind of hopeful. I'm kind of hopeful this will be a slow simmer. I'm just not sure as of right now, so I will tentatively put it into Grower Not a Shower. I will say, however, that I did really like the concept. I'm a sucker for a universe theme with lyrics that say, I ran 1,000,000 light years to meet you again. Now we have Weeekly and their comeback with Ven Para from their first single album, Play Game Awake. Described by Soombi by having a vintage hip-hop and 808 bass, this song meshes analog and digital sounds containing powerful lyrics that are expressive of the sun. Such a description definitely had me at the edge of my seat. You know, this sounds intriguing. If you're saying this is expressive of the sun, then I'm expecting it's going to be very powerful, very passionate. However, I did quickly realize that the sun references were more explicitly within the lyrics. It's getting hotter, keep your eyes covered, we are burning hot. The sounds I was initially hearing did sound a little bit unsettling, in a more tame way, you know, wasn't giving sticker. But the voice alterations were nevertheless quite noticeable, which I did think was odd at first, but maybe that is just the charm of the song. For me, it's not really the type of song that I'm drawn to, particularly songs that just have so much going on within the chorus. If we think back recently to Red Velvet's Feel My Rhythm, which we'll touch on later, but I did review it. I think it's similar in the sense of just having a lot of maybe opposing sounds put together in a chorus to sound kind of quirky and unsettling. And I think some people like that, some people don't. I just personally don't as of right now. Of course, that can change. However, I did like parts of the instrumentals and the pre-chorus as well, and I would have loved a song more along those lines. So for those reasons, I'm going to put this into YG's Dungeon, just to rework the song a bit to make it more minimalistic. Now let's talk about Jay Park's digital single, Ganadara, featuring IU. Now, there wasn't much of a description for this song other than it being groovy and referencing the alphabet, but the music video was definitely funny. You know, it's a collaboration with IU. But in the music video, you know, they're explicitly trying to get IU to come film with him, but she ends up not showing up, so they use a mannequin and this weird edit of her. They say, like, what are we gonna do? Like, her verse is pretty long. She does, however, spoiler alert, show up. The song basically talks about not being an effective communicator. He says his Korean's not very good. However, he's very proficient in body language. As for how I feel about the song, when I first read the description of groovy, I was feeling a little apprehensive. I'm just finding 70s, 80s a little bit overdone personally. It's just not my favorite anymore. But it didn't feel too retro, maybe 90s, 2000s vibes. But overall, it was just a very vibey song. That being said, I do feel incredibly neutral about this song, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it into It Exists. Moving on to (G)I-DLE's comeback with Tomboy from their first full-length studio album, I Never Die. I actually filmed a reaction to this for my channel members. If you're not in my channel members, definitely go check it out. Now, according to Soompi, this is a song that expresses Idol's confident attitude with straightforward lyrics. I liked the music video for sure. I love when you're able to read quotes throughout the music video. If we think to a lot of YG music videos, this is the case. Even Somi's music video, 17's Ready to Love. As for the song, we have some early 2000s rock vibes for sure. I feel like I always reference this, but when I hear a good early 2000s pop rock song, I'm always like, that could be in Mean Girls. I can picture this in Mean Girls. Now, apparently there was rumors that there's a diss towards Hyuna in this song. Literally the lyrics like, I don't want to play this ping pong. I would rather film a TikTok. Burn. I personally don't think it's shade. And if it is, it's just like really bad shade. I think it could have been a good diss had it not been followed by, I would rather film a TikTok. That's my opinion. Like, just, I don't want to play this ping pong. And then moving on to like different rhymes and stuff. Like, I would rather film a TikTok. I don't know. Like, it kind of ruins it if it were a diss, which I don't think it is. That being said, I don't even think Hyuna was in her head when she mentioned ping pong. First of all, ping pong is by Hyuna and Dawn. So I'm just sensing a little bit of misogyny. Why not bring them both into it? Why just Hyuna? But let me know what you think of all that. As for how I feel about the song, I can definitely admit that it's a vibe. Okay, it's a vibe. I feel like there's a lot of really good potential sound bites within the song, but I almost feel as though it's not my vibe for right now. And this is very similar for even Hwa by (G)I-DLE. I loved the concept. I loved the music video. I even enjoyed the song, but I just knew like right now, it's not for me right now. Then basically almost a year later, I ended up streaming it a bunch and I really love Hwa now. I feel like it's kind of similar with this song Tomboy. Like, I think it sounds really nice. I think it's a really cool song. I just don't know that I'm feeling it right now. Does that even make any sense? Like, maybe I would love it later. So tentatively again, I'm going to put this song into Grower Not a Shower because I do believe it has the potential to be quite addictive. Next up, we have Brave Girls and their comeback with Thank You from their mini album of the same name. According to Soompi, this is a retro pop song with a disco punk sound. The track expresses gratitude to people who did not give up on Brave Girls and stayed by their side, highlighting the miracle-like events that occurred last year, which we know is referring to Rollin' that, you know, out of the blue went on the charts again. They got to perform it again. Like, I can imagine that was one hell of an experience. Definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you really need to take advantage of that when it happens, right? You can't just let that moment go by. Now, hearing disco punk, I was really hoping that the punk would overpower the disco, but at the end of it all, I don't really remember the punk elements. If anything, they didn't stand out to me. I'll be honest, hearing the lyrics and everything, I thought this song might be like a little too specific, but I don't know, the lyrics seemed a little bit more generalized and the sound was quite addictive. Now, the song does sound nice, however, I'm quite neutral about it. So again, I'll be making use of the It Exists tier. Let's talk about New East's last comeback with Again from their album Needle and Bubble. This is a fun fact about me, but I used to be in love with New East from their debut Face, but I stopped following them after Action. It was a really short-lived love, and like I simultaneously loved them alongside BAP, which was really weird because like I refused to love anybody aside from BAP during that time, except for Ren. I literally took this out of my brain. Like, I totally forgot that this point in my life existed, that I stand New East. Double biasing for me back then? Unheard of. But I do remember having equal amounts of photos of both Ren and Youngjae in my phone. So even though I stand for maybe less than a year and I haven't really followed them until now, it is always like bittersweet to find out that a group is like disbanding or having their last comeback. I would just rather you didn't tell me. You know, Girls' Generation will forever live in our hearts as Girls' Generation. Are they still together? Hell no. None of them are even in the company except for Taeyeon. But we never had that breakup. And so, you know, they get to live in our heads like that. But then like groups like 21 or like BAP, the countless amount of groups that have actually disbanded, you know, there's that bittersweet moment attached to them. And it's not their fault, but like I would just rather not know. Just don't tell me. All the fans in the comments are like, we need to know everything as it's happening right away. I get that. I don't want to know. Anyways, according to Soompi, this is an R&B pop song with a trendy synth sound mixed with a simple and lyrical piano performance to create a warm atmosphere. The song conveys the message that even if everything changes, their feelings for one another will remain the same. Honestly, I was a little hesitant to listen to this because I was like, if this is like Goodbye by 21, I want nothing to do with it. That shit's sad. And why do you purposely want to make yourself sad? Anyways, though we did get some bittersweet moments in the song with lyrics like the seasons will pile up as memories and to keep our spring forever, it did overall feel a lot more uplifting than I was anticipating it to be. That paired with some very sweet vocals, a little bit of magic, and a very nostalgic sound made this a very nice listen. And I was like, I'll be damned if I haven't listened to New East in almost 10 years. And I'm gonna fall in love with their last comeback, RIP. In particular, I like the lyricism, of course. I'm a sucker for bittersweet and mentions of seasons. I don't know why. Mentioned spring in a song, and for whatever reason, I'm all over that shit. Even though I have no concept of time and don't really know the difference between spring and autumn, and that's not something I admit freely all the time. So I did end up adding the song to my playlist, however, I think it was really short-lived, a little shorter-lived than I would have accepted to put in Cup of Milk. So for me, I'm going to put this into second gen vibes because again, I do have high praise for this song. I just don't know that I would stream it every single day. If it randomly started playing, my point is I wouldn't skip it. Next up, we have Kihyun from Monsta X's solo debut with Voyager from the album of the same name. According to Soompi, this is a pop song with catchy bass and guitar sounds. Before noticing the guitar sounds and slight rock influence, shall we say, my first thought was that it had some slight 70s vibes. There was something a little groovy about it. You know, the verses I would say were slightly groovy, then it got lost a bit before picking it back up. I feel like the content of the lyrics touch on a fast-paced, red-hot life, in contrast to wanting to take things slow and explore the world like a Voyager. So even at the beginning of the music video, you see him, he's kind of trying to avoid the lights of a camera. While in the second part of the music video, you see he's like running, he's driving, he's performing calmly in a restaurant. So I think the song expresses a desire to just live a little bit more in the slow lane. As for where I would rank this song, I don't really think this is something that I would listen to, so I'm personally gonna put it into not my cup of tea. Let's now check out Kim Junsu's Hana from his mini album Dimension. If you don't know, he is a former DBSK member. He's a former JYJ. Is JYJ still together? Irregardless, In Heaven was my gem in 2012. So just with those facts in mind, I knew immediately that I would love his vocals. Surprise, surprise. And listening to this song, he definitely didn't disappoint. According to Soompi, this song expresses a message to his fans who have always shown support by his side, with Junsu being co-writer and lyrics alongside Checkmate. But anyways, I think his voice is incredibly unique, incredibly powerful. If you've ever seen a performance of him live, I recommend JYJ in Heaven. You know the power, you know it's powerful. Not only that, it was definitely magical, and we got a really nice beat drop. So he does say this is a message to his fans, and I think the message overall is about rejuvenation, of beating the odds and shining through regardless. We'll paint our world even if it gets erased. Blossom from noisy memories. So I would say it's quite a pleasant song. This is another song where I added it to my playlist, but then the next day I was just like, you know, I'm not sure that I would stream it, but I do love the idea of it. So I'm gonna go and put this in second gen vibes as well. Let us now introduce a debut with XG and Tippy Toes. Now, I'm special, so I get PR emails from this group. So let's introduce some super official and exclusive information. I mean, it is a PR email. You could probably read this on an article, but you heard it from me. So XG is a 7-member hip-hop R&B girl group, and they became the first artist to debut from X Gal X. Now, I know a lot of people thought that this was YG's new girl group. I've even seen like TikToks about it saying, here are the members of YG's new girl group. I don't know their affiliation. All I can tell you is this is not YG's new girl group. Now, the group's name XG stands for Extraordinary Girls, and with their fresh, innovative music and performance, XG aims to empower young people from all over the world from all walks of life. So the song Tippy Toes is described as having unmistakable hip-hop and R&B vibes. It blends in a subtle whispered refrain with strong vocals and dynamic rap. The message of the song is that XG will wreck the game, reflecting their mission to defy stereotypes and create new power structures within the industry. They also wrote in this email, the highly anticipated arrival of XG is sure to get everyone on their tippy toes. The rest of the email talks about how crazy talented these girls are, so I was definitely excited to check them out. We start off the song with some whispering, and I was immediately intrigued. I was really hoping that the song wouldn't disappoint from there. Though the verses aren't necessarily whispering, they do keep a kind of calm demeanor in a similar wavelength, I would say. We gon' whisper to you super quiet, but show 'em who's in charge, taking over with the pilot. Then that chorus hits with even more whispering, and I think it's the best part of the song. I really think it's an interesting song. I think it's also quite unique. And I do have to say, I really like the title as well, Tippy Toes, because it's more maybe a youthful take on, being on the tip of your toes. But it's paired with such like a cool, calm demeanor that I do end up really liking the contrast. My friend did say it reminded her of Jason Derulo, Lay, and NCT 127's Let's Shut Up and Dance. All my London girls, come show me some. All my LA girls, come show me some. As for me, where I would rank it, I'm like, it kind of made it onto my playlist, and then the next day I was like, I don't know if I would stream it, but then it got stuck in my head, so it got onto my playlist again. But at the end of the day, I have really been enjoying listening to it, so I'm gonna go and put it in Cup of Milk. Let us now move on to WeEye's Too Bad. From their first mini album, Love Part 1, First Love. I always like to have a nice little giggle at some of the titles of these albums sometimes. And not that this one is complicated or anything, but it does feel a little repetitive, right? Love Part 1. It's the first part of the love, and then First Love, which is the part 1 of... Anyways. I actually like this song, so please don't come for me. Described by Soompi as having a catchy hook above fun guitar-based sounds, this is a heart-fluttering song that expresses a shy confession of love. Now, is it fun? Yes. Is it catchy? Yes. Heart fluttering? Only the best kind. I loved the instrumentals right off the bat as well as the concept. I tend to gravitate I can't say that. I can't say that I tend to, because sometimes it's a hit or miss, but I would say I do love a good, cute concept. And we're back. My camera had the audacity to die. It's literally plugged in and had the audacity to die. It's a Sony, by the way. Stan Canon. I tend to associate cute boy group concepts with second gen because I think, can I even say they were more common back then? I feel like I could name a couple, like Zia's Here I Am, Boyfriend. Maybe they were just never really common, but they're sprinkled around sometimes, and I like them when they're done well. I think up until now, WeEye wasn't really on my radar, but now I definitely feel a lot more intrigued. The lyrics say, "The exceptionally blue sky following the wind that pushes me. The sky is pretty, there is no other reason. More today, this temperature, this feeling, everything is perfect." Followed by them wanting to confess their love and ending off with, maybe it's not too bad. It can be interpreted in the sense that, these puzzle pieces are all fitting together so perfectly today. So maybe today's not too bad of a day to confess. Or maybe you can have a more generalized view on it. Appreciating nature, the sky, the wind makes today not too bad. I kind of like the latter interpretation because it does feel very inspiring. And it makes me feel fluffy inside. Not only that, but I do really like the line that says, "You got me feeling like a Saturday night." And I did want to ask you guys, do you think when they sing Too Bad that it sounds like 17? I think this song is really nice and fluffy, so I'm going to put it into Cup of Milk. So Solar came out with her mini album Face with the title track Honey. Sophie says it was written and composed by Solar herself, and Honey is a house genre song that adorably expresses how people sweetly seduce her. Now I love a good theme, and that theme being honey. I loved the yellow outfit, especially the short yellow skirt with the thong sticking out, very early 2000s inspired. Plus the honey imagery where honey itself is projected onto her face. I also loved like the late 90s, early 2000s white set of outfits and white background. Overall, the looks in the music video were really stellar. Sound-wise, I was a little bit intrigued. I'm not really a fan of trumpets, so when I first heard the trumpets, I was scared that would be kind of the killing point of the song, but it ended up being really short and sweet. So I did enjoy the rest of the song, but I just don't know that it's necessarily my style. So for that reason, because I do appreciate all these elements, because I do nevertheless still kind of appreciate the song even though it's not necessarily my style, I'm gonna put it in It Exists. On to Stray Kids' Maniac from their album Ordinary. So this is another reaction that I made especially for my channel members if you want to join. So let me kind of reiterate my thoughts on this song. So right off the bat, initially, I'm really in love with the instrumentals. Super interesting, super intriguing, and throughout the song, actually, I do feel like as though we got some video game vibes. My favorite part of the song, however, is definitely the first part of the chorus. Felix's voice saying Maniac, just very deep, and adds some depth to what I would describe as maybe an otherwise minimalistic chorus, while also being quirky with like the ping ping sounds, right? And the chirping. Let us not forget the chirping. I did also appreciate the message of this song, so it's kind of touches on the feeling of letting go of whatever preconceived notions that someone might have of you, and just to live authentically. So locked up while wrapped in that pretty package. As time goes by, it will be eventually revealed the inner self that was hidden. So basically an encouragement to screw everyone else and just live the way that you want to live. While also kind of an acknowledgement that we're forced to be wrapped in these pretty packages that maybe isn't super reflective of who we actually are inside. Not that we're ugly or whatever. I mean, some of us are. You get the gist. I think you get it. That being said, I don't think I'm the biggest fan of the verses. I think that was the one thing I thought, you know, maybe because the chorus is so amazing, I would be able to get over that. So this song could very well fit into YG's Dungeon, because if I had to change something about the song, it would be the verses. However, I do think that the chorus makes up for that to an extent, so I honestly wouldn't mind putting this into second gen vibes. Again, if it played on a playlist randomly, I think I would really enjoy it. So Red Velvet is back with the Rev Festival 2022 Feel My Rhythm and the title track of the same name, that being Feel My Rhythm. According to Slumpy, this is a pop dance song that samples Johann Sebastian Bach's Air on the G string. The lyrics vividly tell a tale of really going on a fun journey across time and space while following the music. So I made a public reaction video to this. You can feel free to check that out if you'd like to. But some of the comments were just like a little bit much, because apparently I stan ATs and I'm not allowed to be critical of Red Velvet if I stan ATs. SM tends to make noisy music. Like, that's just what SM has been doing. It's like their signature. But because I said it, suddenly I'm a hypocrite because I stan ATs. Two things can be true at once. A song can be noisy and loved. A song can be noisy and hated. Yeah, I stan ATs, so I love every single one of their songs. No. Are you obliged to like every single song that your favorite group releases? Absolutely not. That being said, I maintain that I was not a big fan of this song, and if you have an issue with that, take it up with my lawyer. His name is Kevin. And this song goes straight into not my cup of tea. There's just a lot going on in the song, and as of right now, that's not something that I like. But I've definitely been known to warm up to terrible sounding songs, so we never, that was too far, fuck, cut that out. Moving on to Highlight and their first full album, Daydream, and the title track of the same name. According to Sumpy, this is a medium tempo dance track with emotional vocals and retro synth sounds. The song talks about not wanting to wake up from a daydream to face reality or life without the one they love. Now, initially with the title like Daydream, I was expecting dreamy vibes. I was expecting, you know, a little bit of magic at least. And though I 100% agree that there's emotional vocals in this, I do think the song ended up being heavier than I was anticipating. Like, again, the title, the vocals, and even some of the sounds themselves feel like they would have better fit a a different type of song. Again, at least a dreamier sound, maybe a more majestic sound, because it has so many of those elements that just need to be unearthed a little bit more. But that's just how I personally feel, because there were a lot of elements that I did appreciate, you know, like the pre-chorus in particular. And then some bits and pieces of the chorus. So I would put this song into YG's Dungeon just to rework it ever so slightly, to really bring out those majestic vibes that are already there, to enhance those elements a little bit more. Cravity made their comeback with their album Liberty in Our Cosmos and their title track Adrenaline. According to Soompi, this is a unique and energetic multi-genre song combining punk, future house, trap, and boombaton. Adrenaline refreshingly expresses Gravity's desire for freedom while comparing the listener's existence to adrenaline. Love a good broken fourth wall moment. So they're mentioning all of these different genres of music, but I was getting like slight groovy vibes above anything else. Groovy. How many times did I say groovy in this video? I'm curious. Now I will say the build up from the pre-chorus into the chorus was really nice. I was at the edge of my seat, like waiting for it, and it was a really nice release. However, just the chorus in and of itself feels like incredibly familiar, and there's not really one particular song that I could point to, but rather just maybe multiple songs. I don't know. It gives me an early 2000s type vibe, so it did feel quite familiar. Overall, there are elements that I liked. I'm just not sure that I would go ahead and put it in YG's Dungeon, because I'm not sure what in particular I would change. So unfortunately, I do think I'm gonna put it into Not My Cup of Tea, but as always, if this sounds like something you would like, then definitely go check it out. From their album Series O, Round Zero Who, Verivery have released their title track O. Luckily for us, I have everything written in the description, so let's take a look. Seeds of Darkness and What Came Before. They say this digital single series acts as a prequel to previous releases of the Series O album and delves into a story about the void and emptiness of heart filled by seed of darkness through a group of boys hurt and abandoned by society or their own family during a time of instability. 7 boys who believe themselves to be complete, but they have yet to mature, imperfect in their emptiness and inner demons that they harbor. Can they ever find an answer to achieving perfection? So they didn't end up describing the song, so I went back to Soompi, who says this is an R&B dance song with powerful guitar riffs and groovy drum beats that create a dreamy and sexy atmosphere. Initially, the opening scene reminds me a little bit of Blackpink's Whistle, like they're in a car, but there's also riding bikes everywhere and there's like a pink tint. Were they riding bicycles? I guess we'll never know. I'm not risking my copyright for those bastards at YG. Digressing, I think it's a nice song. I don't have much to say. I agree that it's dreamy, but I would also add that it's slightly angsty as well. That being said, I would put this in second gen vibes. Now on to NCT Dream's Glitch Mode from their second full-length album of the same name. Again, according to Soompi, this is a hip-hop dance song with unique lyrics and addictive sounds. The lyrics wittingly express how you begin to buffer and enter a glitch mode in front of the person you like. How very cute. Now, people like to accuse me of being an SM auntie. I will point out that I did like hot sauce. I also stan aespa, so, you know, please. And that's just the 4th gen examples. I casually stand EXO in 2012, maybe even 2013. Probably drew the line in 2014. I liked TVXQ's Catch Me, and I am forever so on. So I don't know where you guys get this rumor from. That being said, I don't know about this song. So how do I describe this? There are lots of elements that I did like. You know, I loved the concept, the whole like buffering in front of someone you loved. I liked a lot of the rap parts. I liked some of the instrumentals. I'm just not a fan of the chorus. I feel like it doesn't match the energy that was building up to it. So for me with this song, I just would have made it a little bit more cohesive. So for those reasons, because I did like the concept, because I did like certain elements, I am going to put it into YG's Dungeon. Majors brought us a double title track from their album The End of Chaos with these songs Giddy Up and Salute. In the past, I really liked Major's song Dancing in the Moonlit Night. That was actually, I think, Big Booty Bob. And I would say with Salute and Giddy Up, they kind of keep a similar vibe. I feel like they're kind of finding their sound. With Salute aiming to be, I think, a little bit more girl crush, a little bit more powerful. The one critique, however, is that it does kind of sound like it's from a small company. There's something like a little bit off about the mixing, shall we say. So you're really going off of the potential of the song. Now, for some people, that's a deal breaker. For me, I could definitely get past that. If we think to Black Swan songs or even Rocking Doll songs, they have those similar vibes where the songs have a lot of potential, but maybe just the production value doesn't have as big of a budget. So for Salute, I did find myself liking a lot of elements, but then also side-eyeing how it sounded at times. So for Salute, I think it would be better suited into YG's Dungeon because I do see the potential, but overall I'm just not too sure about it. And though I feel like Giddy Up is on a similar wavelength, I think it's way more magical, way more nostalgic, and I definitely liked Giddy Up a lot more. To be honest, I did add it to my playlist, and then the next day I was like, well, I don't know that I actually love it. So I'm not sure if I should put it in Not My Cup of Tea, but I think It Exists for now is fine and dandy. As for Giddy Up, I did put it on my playlist, and again, the next day I was kind of like, I'm not sure how I feel about it, so I'm gonna put Giddy Up actually into second gen vibes because I did like it a lot more. I do feel as well that it could fit into YG's Dungeon, but at the same time, you know, I'm not opposed to listening to it. I would definitely not skip it if it randomly played. Now let us talk about Purple Kiss and their comeback with memeM. From the mini album of the same name. Now, according to Sumpy, this is a trap song with powerful drum and bass. This is a trap song with powerful drum and bass sounds and unique changes in places. The addictive hook will make listeners fall into Purple Kiss's charms. I was really inclined to believe that because, first of all, Zombie was an amazing song, and I do really believe in Purple Kiss's vocals. They have really nice vocals. I really do think they bring something unique to the table. With that said, the first instrumental that I heard, I was hooked. I was like, this is amazing. I love the way that this sounds. However, we could describe this as being more of a roller coaster type song. Those I tend to warm up to, so I would say I felt really neutral about the verses, the first verses. But then the chorus came and the beat throughout was beautiful. I loved it. But then the second part of the song, it changed a little bit more creepier. And I think I was much more interested in the second half of the song than the first half of the song.
Look in my eyes, dip inside, out of control.
But there are points in the song where the pace changes very drastically to the point where you're slightly taken out of the experience, but then I feel like the chorus kind of makes up for it. It did end up on my playlist, so I'm gonna put this in Cup of Milk. Last but not least, we have Alexa and Wonderland from her performance on American Song Festival. I know I usually don't review songs that don't have a music video, but I wanted to make a special exception because I really did like this song and there's a really great performance that comes along with it. And I have to say, I do like the lyrics. Of course, we have this theme of Alice in Wonderland, and she talks about how this love interest just keeps getting closer to her and making her put her walls down, but in the end, she knows they run away. How she knows these things generally don't work out and she's not confident in the longevity of this. So off with your head, the only way we would ever have a chance is back in some fantasy land is basically what they're saying. And I think it's quite clever because it does feel a little bit shady. The lyrics go, wonder if we had a chance, maybe back in Wonderland. We also have the lyrics, boy, you got me going down a rabbit hole, got me foaming out the mouth like a rabid dog. She made it sound a lot better, but those are the lyrics. Anyways, I really like this song. I've been playing it quite a bit, and I also loved her energy in the performance. So into Cup of Milk this song goes. I definitely recommend you check it out. And yeah, that is basically it for the first part of this video. We can now move on to my monthly playlist. So here we have my monthly playlist, and it has 100 likes. I'm so proud. It literally had 38 likes last month, just saying. But anyways, these are songs that I have been enjoying the past month without them necessarily having come out this month. And frankly, there's a lot of non-K-pop songs on this playlist. 2022 K-pop has just been really disappointing. Okay. Where did we end off last time? So we have Faking Love by Anita featuring Saweetie. One of my top artists this month was definitely Anita, along with Selena. And I don't know, should we go check it out? My top artist this month was Girlicious, Selena, Girls' Day, and Anita. It also says Shakira, ATEEZ, and Luis Fonsi, but I don't remember listening to them. Anyways, I think this song randomly started playing at the end of a playlist and I really liked it, so I added it. Criminal by Nari, Natasha, and Ozuna. I was just going through random playlists and it's just a good song. I don't know what to say. This is a song that I showed my friend Sherry, and this is like one of my top Girls' Day song. Nothing Lasts Forever and Twinkle Twinkle. I love those songs. And I think there's a third one I just can't remember off the top of my head. And we could never find the song on Spotify because obviously we were writing Nothing Lasts Forever, but I think a lot of their title tracks are just written in Korean. So she's like, I found it, and I was so happy. So it went on my playlist. I heard this song on TikTok. I believe it came out last year, but I've seen a couple of TikToks that I had to download it immediately. It sounded so amazing. The music video, oh my fucking god. I was mesmerized. Classic Africa Car Wolf. What can we say? Girlicious will always forever be iconic in my heart. I remember as a fucking fetus watching The Search for the Next Doll. They ended up selecting a member to be a new member of the Pussycat Dolls, and she never ever went into the Pussycat Dolls. But then there was a sequel to that show where they were going to create Girlicious, and they had us all at the edge of our seats because they were going to make a 3-member girl group, right? So imagine they're selecting a 3-member girl group and then suddenly 4 members? Oh my god. I've always loved Girlicious title tracks, so naturally Like Me has appeared on my playlist.
I know I'm fine, but the money makes me handsomer.
So here we have Russ featuring Caitlyn, Handsomer remix. Again, I heard this on TikTok and I thought it was really... I made a Blackpink edit to the song and my friend disowned me. She's like, this is some Eshe shit or Ishe, I don't know, some Australian slang. But I liked it. My mom likes it too, by the way. You Broke Me First by Tate McRae. This is super popular on TikTok. I didn't like it. Well, I liked it at the time, but I never thought to download it. And then I just have a story. So obviously I like the song. It's on my playlist. Who cares? I always thought, I just read the lyrics and it says, now suddenly you're asking for it back. I swear to God, I thought the lyrics were, and suddenly your eyes move forward back. I still sing that to this day. I don't know what she means by what is he asking for back? Am I missing something? I think the eyes move forward back makes more sense, but I don't know. Wow. Okay. There was really not that many songs on my playlist this month. Die Young by Kesha. Die Young by Kesha should be in here. Forgot to put her in the playlist. But that is it for this video. Don't forget to go like my playlist. It gives me validation. And if you made it this far to the video without skipping, I want you to leave a rabbit emoji because the last song I can remember with the theme is Wonderland. I've been filming for literally 2 hours. Holy shit. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with friends you don't have. You can also join my channel members by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. These are the lovely individuals who help support my channel on a monthly basis, and it means the world to me. Thank you so much. As for me, I'm gonna get going, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.